So one of the things I hear on a regular basis is how do you set your diet up to then keep all the results that you got long term? So the diet you use to get in shape is not the same diet you use to stay in shape. It's not the same diet you use for long term weight management. And there's a few key things that you need to dial in on to get this diet that you have for life. And the four that I always come to mind are: it needs to satiate you, it needs to make you feel good, it needs to taste good, and it needs to feel effortless. Like those are the four sort of areas generally you need to sort of dial in. And we've probably over the last 10 years really found what works for us in our own dieting. And we had a podcast with Lyle McDonald recently, and he was talking about a similar sort of thing and how each of us on this call have been through that journey of trial and error to find these unique diet sort of hacks that work for us, and allow us to maintain our body weight, and most of all have control of our body weight, whether we're going muscle building phases, fat loss, or maintenance. What would be useful for today's podcast is to start off by going around and asking, like, what are these unique dieting things that you do to allow yourself to maintain your body weight long term? Kick it off with it.
So for me, I think the biggest thing is just practicality. Having food ready that just fits with your lifestyle. So it's not adding a stressor to you. Eating well, to eat well long term, it can't be a stressor in your life. It needs to be, like you said, fairly effortless. So one of the biggest things I do when I put together a meal plan for myself or make adjustments is just thinking of it from practicality point of view. I like to do one shop a week. Sometimes, there'll be a little bit of a top up here and there, but then I'll batch cook it. And then my fridge is just full of Tupperwares. And then most of my meals, I'm just pulling out there, putting in the microwave, and then they're good to go. That's how my life is kind of set up at the moment. And it works really well. And the days that there isn't one in the fridge, or I've just slightly messed up with the timings or whatever, that then creates a stressor, because it's like, all right, what am I going to eat? How am I going to fit that into my day now? So that for me is probably the biggest part.
What's your meal plan? It's one of those questions, but like, you've probably got your version of meal plan. What is your meal plan out of interest?
So I have, at the moment, I'm actually training early in the morning.
Okay.
So I'm just having my first meal and I come back from that, and I'm having, it's like an overnight oats. So that's already prepped the day before. So that's just like oats. I have some raisins in there and some protein powder. And then on that morning, when I get out of the fridge, I top it with a banana and then some Cocoa Pops. My carbs are very high at the moment, so that's like a bit of a carb hit to try and help hit that.
That sounds pretty nice for your sort.
Oh no, it's decent. Like, believe me, that's a taste explosion for me. Yeah. Then a couple of hours later, I have, or a few hours later, I have Greek yogurt, muesli, raisins, and nuts.
Very easy meal to prep.
Yeah, so I do that just at the time, but that's a couple of minutes. Lunchtime, I have some, this is your favorite, I know, whitefish, greens, and then some rice, olive oil on top of that.
Dangerous.
Then I finish work. I have a quick turnaround between finish work and then I have to get out to get my son. So I just make a smoothie at that point. Again, like, food's quite high at the moment, so I find that's just a good way of getting it in. I used to have a solid meal then, but time-wise and just digestion, I'd struggle. So that's like whey, frozen berries, and peanut butter blended up. And then in the evening, I'll have some beef mince with veggies, rice, bit of cheese on top. And then at the moment, I've got a slice of bread with it as well, just because carbs are up.
What's your carbs up? What are your carbs up to? 500 plus?
Yeah, they're over 6, I think. I need to check exactly. I kind of had the baseline and then just add, so I wouldn't know exact numbers, but
you maintain your body weight on that? You're still on 78 kilos?
Yeah, 78.
Wow. Okay.
So I think if I was, it basically just stays, unless I have something a bit different, like go out for a meal at the weekend or something, it basically goes between 78.1 to 78.3. Like, it's probably the most consistent it's ever been.
That's really good.
I'd ballpark calories at like probably 43 to 4,500, something like that, probably.
Wow.
Which is,
what's your activity like?
I do like 8K steps average. Do 4 gym sessions, 2 cardio at the moment. So it's not even excessive.
That's impressive. That's a lot of calories to maintain on. Yeah.
But the thing is, I've maintained a higher body weight on way less calories before, and when I was PTing as well. But I think it's just I think I've done it in a very consistent way over the last probably year or so of just been really, really consistent with nutrition, not at the detriment of like lifestyle, but just because I found a system that just works so well for me and just fits so easily with my lifestyle. And then I just haven't made big calorie jumps. Well, at the moment, if I go under 78 kilos, I'll just add 100 calories. And then it kind of brings me kind of back in that. Nice. And then if I dip again, sometimes that will happen a couple of times across a 2-week period. Sometimes I've got like 3-4 weeks without that happening. But then slowly and surely, my food volume just increased, where my weight's basically just held. And I found performance in the gym has been good with that as well.
Wow. 4,500 calories at 78 kilos. That's impressive. Yeah. Barely. We're not much movement to be fair, right? No. Nothing.
Yeah. No, it's definitely not excessive by any means.
Yeah. But all those meals, if you think about it, go on.
So how long's that taking you to sort of build up to that? That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I would say before about 2-3 years ago, to about 2.5 years ago, I was probably maintaining this body weight on about 1,000 less calories. And I was PTing. So I was probably doing more, I've been more active. But I think just the increase, I think the small increases in when I've needed that bump have just seemed to work really well. And I think I've probably just upregulated things like I'm sure my NEAT is just higher than it was maybe, obviously I'm not moving around the gym floor as much, but when I'm sitting down, I'm probably fidgeting more than I was, at that point, things like that. And yeah, I don't know. I think I've probably got a bit more muscle now, but I don't think that's not going to make 1,000 calorie difference.
Surely, do you think it's anything to do with having a son now? Like you're just more active?
Yeah, I think that could be play, but I think also maybe on that, my life's just maybe a bit more consistent it's inconsistent. It's inconsistent in terms of like, what mood he's in and things, but I'm probably having less meals out. Like I'm doing things, but maybe it's taking him to the park rather than going out for a meal or going out for drinks or something like that, maybe. So yeah, I think the last couple of years have just been and maybe lockdowns have played a part as well in that, but it's just been very consistent. And like, the weekend I went out, I had a couple of meals with family and things. It's not like it's been crazy restrictive or anything, but I think I've just really just found what works for my lifestyle balance.
Sweet spot.
Yeah. And 6 meals a day. Is it 6 meals a day you're doing?
I have 5.
5.
I think ideally I'd probably 4 to 5, maybe 4 would be ideal for me, but I just find at the moment they just get too much really.
Yeah, 600 grams of carbs is no joke.
I remember we had a discussion a few months back, Ed, because correct me if I'm wrong, you're someone who has a bit more of an adaptive metabolism, right? Meaning that you may be able to like bulk or maintain on very high calories, but if you wanted to like really dig and potentially get into like stage condition, your calories would have to go a lot lower than you would think based on what you're sort of maintaining at. Would that be correct?
Yeah, I think so. Like I've ended on, really low calories before, but I think some of that was just trying to just get in and out quick. So I think
that's true.
Didn't have to go that low, but I think you could easily say, I'm maintaining on 45, so I'll probably be shredded at like 3,500. Whereas that's not going to be the case.
We'll find out next year,
eh?
But if you look at all those meals that you've got there, they're very, very easy to make. You said you batch cook, but you don't need to probably batch cook for many of those meals. A lot of them are just sort of making 2 minutes and eat, right?
Yeah, so I batch cook the 2 rice meals, and then I'll always do the oats the night before. But then say the smoothie, that's like probably a minute. And then the yogurt as well, like that's a couple of minutes.
Well, it's something I was talking about on I did a story on it the other day around batch cook. You don't need to batch, because I think people think batch cooking, you mean you got batch cook everything. But you could just batch cook like 1 carb source a week, and that can make all the difference, or 1 protein source. And it just adds so much time to your day. Instead of cooking those, if you had to cook the white fish and rice every day from scratch, you're adding an extra 30 minutes just to your day. Just cook it.
Yeah. And even like you got to clear up. It's like, there's so much friction to doing that. And to be honest, I even do, because my son only has his dinner in the house because he's at childminder during the day. I've started batch cooking his dinners, and it's so much better because like you can either spend the 20 minutes cooking the meal, or you can spend it with them in the evening. So it's like, even just for not just yourself as well. I think for me, all of those elements that you said are really important, but the just practicality and just fitting into your lifestyle. And it's the same for training as everything. Once it fits into your lifestyle, it becomes so easy, and then it's just taking away all that friction.
Yeah. So you got Ed there, five meals a day, high carb, high calorie, 2 meals
high
batch
performance.
cooked, high performance,
High performance.
2 meals batch cooked, 3 meals like sort of just get up and go. So that's your sort of strategy that works for you. What about you, Ivan?
With what I have batch cooked at the start of the week is I only batch protein. So I have I'll batch cook kangaroo mince, and I'll have some chicken. That's usually my protein sources. Yeah, that lasts me.
True Aussie.
It's really good. It's really good. Yeah, I just cook my pet kangaroo every day. Yeah. It's actually really good, and it actually
really lean, isn't it?
A while. It's super lean, and you can blend it with anything. You can mix it with a lot of other things. So very easy to make, very quick. So I'll have that prepped. Everything else is just on the go. So my breakfast will usually just be a huge like protein ice cream thing with I think 40 to 50 grams of protein powder, a bit of a whey casein blend. I mix up the flavors every now and then to get like a bit of variety, so to speak. And that's like a 1.5 liter like ice cream yogurt sort of thing, which is really, really filling. It's filling, but it doesn't contain like a lot of fiber, which is good for me because I'm about to go train. And I'll have 100 grams like just cereal. So cereal, big protein ice cream for breakfast. That's usually meal one at about 5 a.m. Prior to that, I would have already done almost an hour of cycling. Had a couple of coffees to sort of get me through a bit of work first thing in the morning too. I'm not naturally hungry after cardio, funnily enough. I find that actually blunts my appetite quite a bit. So that's something that I've discovered over, the last 2-3 years. Most people think that cardio makes you a lot more hungry straight after, but for me, I find I can sort of go for a good couple of hours after that. In a good mental space too. So I'll usually delay I'll eat about 5 a.m. I'll go for like a bit of a morning walk, get some sun on me, get another coffee in, and then go train, do my gymnastic stuff, come back. I'll have meal two is just like cool, grab some of my kangaroo mince that's in the fridge. Literally make like a little salad that takes 2 seconds. I'll just have packed lettuce and packed spinach with packed onions, packed like tomatoes. That's literally, I just take a few of them, pop it in a bowl, put the mince in there, put a bit of like low calorie sweet chili sauce. Boom. That's
no carbs.
Salad. Oh, no. That's just one part of the meal.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then,
Ivan's someone who likes like 7 different plates just to like.
Legit. Yeah. I can touch on that a little bit later on. But yeah, I do like that approach of feeling like I'm eating a lot of food in each meal. You know what I mean? So I like that feeling of, okay, wow, I really feel like my meals can sometimes take 20, 30 minutes because I like to sit down, relax, take my time with them. And yeah, I don't like eating small meals. I feel like a bit of a rabbit doing that, So I'll have my mince with salad. I'll have an oats bowl, which is just brilliant. I'll have another protein ice cream, and I'll have another bowl of cereal, and then I'll have another bowl of like frozen berries.
You kidding?
No, it's like four or 5 plates, So it's quite a bit,
So, hold on. So you've got kangaroo mince salad, oats, protein ice cream, and cereal.
Yeah, and frozen berries.
All in one sitting.
Yeah.
Wow. If someone comes over, they're like, "Oh, have you had like a banquet at your house or something?" It's just like
pretty much. But this is why I don't like eating out, because I eat at home and I'm like, man, this is so much better. Like, I feel so much more satiated. Like, and I get all the taste that I want. So the way my meals are structured, I'll start off with something a bit more savory, and then I'll always shift towards the sweet side by the end of it.
Obviously, you get a 3-course meal 3 times a day.
5-course meal.
5 course.
So wait, but then you already have the cereal, protein ice cream, and all that a couple hours ago.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the same.
I do a lot of cardio. Yeah. I'm quite active, right? And,
no. I'm not saying it's more just that you're just repeating the same meal, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm repeating the same meal just with additional oats, because now I can start adding a bit more fiber. So I like to increase my fiber intake as the day goes on, because I like my first half of the day is quite active. I don't like to have a lot of fiber in there. I like to keep everything more short acting, stuff like that. So, and then lunch is a lot more simpler. Lunch is literally just like boiled potatoes, some chicken breast, and some broccoli. So that's literally it.
Are they each on a different plate, or?
Yes. So it's a kilo broccoli, kilo potato. No, that's because I have that really big meal post workout. That my third meal for the day is relatively small. Like I don't need to have a larger
So is that deliberate then? Like the massive meal post workout?
Yeah, only just because I like eating after my training.
What time is that?
So that second meal is usually about 9 to 9:30 in the morning. So and that keeps me going easily to like 1:30 or 2. I'll just have a smaller meal in the afternoon. So that's literally just some boiled
You're probably
potatoes.
only just wrapping up that first meal at that point, aren't you?
It's probably still digesting. So yeah, as I said, some chicken breast and either some broccoli or some other vegetables or whatever. And then like a piece of fruit, maybe some like an apple. Then another bowl of cereal. No. and then my final meal of the day. So I like to have 4 meals per day. My second and my fourth meal are the biggest, because I'm not going to be eating until like 12, 14 hours later. So, and that's usually going to be a big like egg white and kangaroo mince omelet with like a ton of vegetables mixed in with that. I'll also have another bowl of oats with that as well, with obviously dark chocolate and peanut butter, all that good stuff. Another big protein ice cream, another big bowl of frozen berries, and then some other fruits like either pineapple or apples and stuff like that. So yeah, super high volume. I really like high volume foods.
Didn't you say, what was your total? You told me the total weight of your food across the day one time.
It would have been like 5 kilos or something like that, 4.5.
What's the calories on that? Because it sounds like a lot of protein, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's like 3,500 to be fair.
What's
even
the protein
less.
On that? What's the protein?
About 2, maybe like 180 to 200.
Oh, really?
So,
okay.
Yeah. So I'm not having excessive amounts of protein. I just like to have a variety of proteins within my meals.
Yeah. So you got 2.
There's no magic to it. I just like it.
It sounds way more than 3,500 calories, isn't it? It sounds like it's
but that's
a meal.
Yeah. But that's the goal. Like I like to keep my meals like high volume and yeah, like because I want to maintain a certain physique. I want to maintain a certain lightness. Again, I want to feel full. I want to feel satisfied. And I tried experimenting with like 5 smaller meals, and that didn't go well. I hated that so much. 3 meals was potentially just a little bit too much food at one point, but 4 was just like good. But yeah, it's again super high volume, high fiber when I need it. Still high in protein, a really good mixture of sort of fun foods and healthy, wholesome foods that I consider clean. And I found that to be the perfect combination for me. And that allows me to do all the things that I'm doing with the gym, with my cardio, with my performance at work. Everything is running really, really well based on the things that I can measure.
Do you feel heavy after that 9 a.m. meal?
No, because by that time I'm quite depleted. I'm just quite depleted by that time because I've already done quite a bit of walking. I've done quite a bit of gymnastic stuff. Like I literally just I'm hungry within like an hour and a half, 2 hours, but
really
I'm all right. Yeah, but that's fine. Yeah, again, hunger is what it is, and it just comes and goes, right? So it's nothing crazy.
So about 3.5K on your body weight 78 as well.
Nah, about 77.
Okay,
but a little bit
there or thereabouts.
Yeah. But yeah, it seems to work well for me. But again, like I reckon if I was to try push up more and more, it just wouldn't do me any good. I don't think, but we'll see. Who knows? I might one of these days start bulking.
Yeah.
Nah, never again.
Once you get your iron crossed, that could be like a progressive overload. Just like
I know. But again, and that's another thing. I have this like that's such a big performance outcome for me. Like I want to stay light. You know what I mean? Like I want to enhance everything I can to get that cross. Yeah. But you don't want to end up like 70 kilos because you just end up losing a ton of muscle, right? So
you batch cook the kangaroo and the chicken.
That's it.
And the potatoes you make on the day.
Yeah, but I literally use my little potato pocket thing. You just put your potatoes in a pocket, microwave for 5 minutes, and it's done.
Oh, okay. All right. So everything's sort of on the go then. Like you just literally mix it on the dough.
Yeah. But again, I think it's important to note that all of us, we've been able to get to this stage because we have put in the hard yards and we put in the years of just practicing this stuff. So all of this stuff may sound like a lot to someone listening, but remember, we've had to do this over a long period of time to make it second nature. Yeah. And I think this is probably going to carry over nicely to what we're going to discuss today. But before we do that, we need to hear your meal plan.
Yeah. It's not as sexy as that. I was going to say, like, when I come to Australia one day, I need a day of this sort of eating, don't I?
Oh,
banquet eating every day.
Literally. I destroy all restaurants.
Yeah. So mine is mine's actually very different to all of yours, and I don't eat first thing, so that's probably the main thing different. I have a coffee about 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and that coffee just lasts me. I just have one mug, and that keeps me going until 12 o'clock. And I changed. So I used to be a breakfast guy as well. Like I used to eat, back when I was PTing, I used to eat at like 4 or 5 in the morning or whenever I woke up. Basically, as soon as you wake up, you used to have a salmon or whatever the thing was, frozen salmon. I put it in the oven and then go for a shower, go get ready, go to the toilet, and then come out and eat it. And then it just started getting later and later. And then it was like sort of early 2018. I was just looking at a different way to. I just thought I'd try something different at the time, and I just thought, try intermittent fasting. And I tried it. I just loved it. I just loved the ability to not have to worry about food in the first half of the day. And I just kept it going. So it started off as like a little bit of an experiment, and I just carried on doing it. So yeah, I don't eat till 12, and then my first meal is eggs, avocado, sourdough toast. And then my second meal is at about 3:30, 4, which is protein powder, oats, peanut butter, dark chocolate, banana, berries. Yeah, that's the bowl for the afternoon. And then dinner is at the moment it's tofu, beans, rice, veggies. Or I rotate with tempeh, edamame pasta, veggies. And then straight after that meal, after I washed up, I'll have another bowl of oats. So it'll be oats, protein powder, dark chocolate, peanut butter, granola, banana, berries. It's quite a big one. So my last meal is probably about 2,000 calories, all of that, all in. So if I ever go out to eat, it's quite an easy swap. It doesn't ever. That's another one reason why I've said it like that. So if I go out to eat, which I do once or twice a week, I don't need to do anything crazy to maintain my body weight. Actually, you have to worry about eating enough because it's a decent amount of meals, calories at the end of the day. So I think overall calories are probably around 3, 4 maybe.
How do you find satiety when you are eating out though, if so much of that volume is coming in the evening?
Yeah, so most of the time when I end up coming home and having my oats. Yeah. So I just come home and have oats. If I've already had a lot of carbs, what I'll do is I'll just have protein powder, peanut butter, granola, and a bit of dark chocolate and mix it into a paste. Just that sort of Snickers pudding type thing. So that's the biggest concern, to make sure I eat enough when I go out. The other thing is if I was to if I don't want to eat out, but I'm going out in the evening, then I have to eat that meal early, and then I come home and have the second half of it. So yeah, that's the meal. It's working really well, and I think it'll be relatively easy to put it. But if I want to diet down, I just pull the portions down. It's already it's quite a lot. Like that last meal it's not like I'm struggling to eat it, but I don't sit and I don't need that last bowl of oats, if that makes sense. But I know my body weight will drop if I don't. So yeah, that's what I'm eating. I've pretty much had that structure now for probably about 3 years now. So the biggest trick for me actually, so the last meal of the day, that took me a while to crack that, because I don't know, in lockdown, I was trying to find something to have after dinner that satiated me, but didn't, just cause like a snacking habit. When you just end up just picking at things. It took me a while to realize that oats is probably the best thing to do at that time, because I was going through a phase of a bit of granola only, or dark chocolate.
Granola is dangerous.
And then berries, and it's just like, they just don't fill you up, right? And you end up having a lot to fill you up. And then I found my body weight was going up. I just couldn't find something that just hit the spot. And until I didn't stumble across it, I was like, why don't I have that one day? And then, it's kind of gone from there.
Oats are amazing. They really are for satiation. Like, it's insane.
Yeah. So that's my diet. And looking forward to, from January, I'll have to change the eggs meal, which will be interesting. So
what are you thinking of going with for that?
So I'm thinking of moving tofu to lunchtime and doing like a tofu scramble. So it's like scrambled eggs.
That's good. Good transition.
Have you tried that before?
Yeah. It's nice. It is nice.
I saw a TV show.
It's a lot of volume.
I saw a TV show the other day on it, and it was like Mary Berry was like tasting it, And the person like whipped it up for her and she was like, oh, what do you think of that? And she was just like trying just to be polite on TV, but it was just like, doesn't taste much like egg, does it? Like,
I know it doesn't. It tastes, yeah, it's different, but it's probably the best thing I could replace it with.
yeah.
And then I'll probably go for the evening. I'll probably just keep with this tempeh and edamame pasta meal. I think it's such a good thing for and I had beans in that as well. So good for volume and a lot of protein. So that's what I'll probably switch it to. But let's see. So yeah, I don't know how we end up talking half an hour on our diets, but I think people find that. I'm sure people find it interesting.
I think though, even though we have different approaches, right? There are a lot of similarities there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what do you think the similarities are?
Oats. We all have oats. Number one. well, no. It's just like similarities are it's all. I think very high volume, but yes, I probably have more extensive high volume foods, but we are still incorporating a high volume approach when it comes to keeping our fiber intake up, keeping our protein intake up. All these things that we probably take for granted that many people disregard. I think we've naturally gravitated towards that. And we know when we go out for a meal or something, it's never as like filling as what we can have at home from a volume perspective.
Yeah. Oh, I think you can see this, that each meal has protein source. If it's not batch cooked, and I forgot to mention that the dinner is usually batch cooked for a couple of days at a time. Mm-hmm. If it's not batch cooked, then it's easy to make within 5 minutes because all my meals are easy to make. And I think every meal you guys have listed is all 5 minutes or less, right? Preparing time. So it's either batch cooked or easy to prep and it tastes good. That we all enjoy the meals. I don't know about Ed, but I can speak for me and Ivan anyway.
No, I genuinely do.
At least it's satiating and it tastes nice and it makes you feel good and it improves your performance in all areas of your life. So, and the other thing I think is you don't have food focus. That's probably an element to that as well. And there's also high calories as well. If you think high calorie is a commonality, but it's important to caveat here. The high calories thing, I think, takes a long time for most people. And the reality is most people listening to this aren't going to be having 3,500 calories and struggling to maintain their body weight. I think that comes from, I mean, you probably know the science of this a bit more, but anecdotally, I'd say it comes from long years of training hard, long years of accumulating muscle, long years of consistency, and your body just slowly over time just is able to run on higher calories. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's anecdotally what I think commonalities are.
I think Ed's a perfect example right there. You know, he's trained his body to handle small bumps of calories over time and never made any crazy jumps, always focused on performance. You know, I think he kept things consistent. Like, when was the last time you had a binge, Ed?
It's been many years. But like, that's the thing, that's what I've done for the last, say, 2.5 years. It's not to say like 5-10 years ago, you know, if you ask me how many times I had a binge, it'd be, you know,
what this week?
It'd be multiple times a week. And so that's the thing. I think it's not like we haven't struggled with that, or like, and I just can't downplay the trial and error that we've been through. I've tried all these different types of meal frequencies, different meals. I was in my third year at uni and eating like canned sardines with like greens for my breakfast and stuff. You know, like, now I have like a nice warmed up white fish and rice, and I think that's gourmet cooking. But like, you know, we've done all these things and we've tried all this random stuff, and, you know, I say like failed, but like it didn't give us the results we wanted right there and then. But we then learned from it and then used that information to move forward. And over time, you just sharpen that focus to actually what's then work. Because we've all got different meal frequency. There is loads of commonalities, but the main commonality is in like the structure and the ease that it fits in. And I think that's what you were kind of touching on, Ivan, in terms of like when you select your meals. I think the variable most people go to straight away is like, oh, my favorite food. Oh, I can have Cocoa Pops, I'll throw that in. Whereas like, I think for most of us, we look at the practicality, the satiety side of things first. Then once that kind of narrows it and you're like, okay, then what can we fit in there? Because for me, my more calorie dense food, like raisins, like the Cocoa Pops, even like banana, cheese, I've got like bread in there. That's all come as like the add-ons for me. Like, I had my baseline diet, which was high volume. Yeah. And then it's like, I'm already quite full, but I need to increase food to keep body weight. All right, that's when I'll add in like raisins, or I'll add in bread or something like that, which is just easier to get down. If I go into a dieting phase, those are the things that then get pulled out. And then we all kind of end up with a fairly similar diet, really.
I remember one of my friends was he started getting on this oat bowl bandwagon, but like, you know, the fancy ones, right?
Yeah.
I said to him, look, how long there's things that are really nice you're making, but how long did it take you to make? He said, in all honesty, it takes you about 20, 30 minutes to prepare. I said, look, these sorts of things, like for the reality of most people, if you're busy and you're time poor, all these elaborate recipes that you see online, most of them just take too long. And it's one of the reasons I think people struggle to stick to their diets, because they don't find what they like that can take 5 minutes or less. You've really got to nail that. If you're spending even 15 minutes, I think, to prepare a meal, unless it's dinner, 15 minutes in the daytime to prepare a meal, for me, it's too long. It
just increases your food focus too much. Like if you're scrolling Instagram for the next food oat bowl, and where it just starts off like an innocent oat bowl. Oh, just a bit of oats and some dark chocolate. Next thing, it's just like this entire mud cake thing that you've made from oats. You know, it's not even oats anymore. It's just like it's got oat flour in it, and you just made a cake. But you know what I mean? You know, just the thing just escalates and escalates, and now your oat bowl went from 200 calories to 1,000 calories, and now you have some, you know, addiction, right? Because it's just that food focus. You don't want that all the time.
I mean, food focus is what causes that yo-yoing and rebounding. And another thing that Ed pointed around with getting his calories up to where they are, and probably for all of us, is the secret to not yo-yoing and the secret to having a good amount of calories and staying in good shape is to slowly reverse. Is like coming out of a dieting phase and just slowly, consistently adding calories. Because that's, if you miss that window of opportunity that you have, you end up just back at square one, because you binge your way all the way up to 10 kilos. Then you have to diet your way back, binge your way up again, diet your way back. Next thing you know, you spent 2, 3, 4, 5 years and you're not really getting anywhere. You're just spinning your wheels in the same composition, same food focus, and your confidence is getting lower. And it's the same cycle that you end up in, right? So that consistency dieting phase is really, really important, but also going into it like what can I try here that would work? What's not working? What can I edit it? Like, for example, my intermittent fasting thing, that only came about 3 years ago, but but years before that, I had something that worked as well. But then it wasn't working because it wasn't working for the new phase I'm in. And this was when I started working from home more as opposed to being a personal trainer. If I was personal training, I probably would eat before 12 because you're active and you're going to be starving if you wait till 12, right? Whereas now I'm just sitting, I don't do much activity in the morning aside from a small walk. So for me, I don't feel the need to eat in the morning. Whereas, you know, that's another thing, is like, as your life changes, you're going to need to know more and more tools to keep yourself in the right place, nutrition wise.
Definitely. And I think another cool thing that we should probably discuss is the diet that got you into shape doesn't have to be the diet you sustain for the rest of your life. And I think there's this huge nonsense in the fitness industry where people are like, oh, if you're not doing something sustainable, then you're doing it wrong. You know what I mean? Yeah, that whole mantra. It's like, well, no, a fat loss phase is meant to be a little bit unsustainable, right? Like, you don't just continue losing fat the rest of your life, because if you do it properly, you die. You know what I mean? So the fat loss process in and of itself is something that is unsustainable. So there's no harm in potentially doing a few things that are a little bit unsustainable from a dietary perspective for a relatively short period of time, knowing that you can still keep the same habits that got you into shape, right? And then you can start to alter your nutrition as you come out of that dieting phase, right? So a good example here would be, AV, when you did your cut, maintenance, or whatever phase you're in, right? You still kept your same meal structure. You didn't just say, okay, I'm dieting now I'm doing IF. No, you've done intermittent fasting the whole time, whether it's 3,000 calories, 2,000 calories, 1,000 calories, you're still doing the same structure, right? So you kept the same structure, yet your diet changed. And I think that's the big takeaway here. You don't have to do this whole like topsy-turvy thing once you start reversing after your checkpoint, right?
You don't, at the beginning, you don't have the foundation or the education to be messing around with different things. You need to build these foundations, automate everything, and just you need to just go on autopilot and just get it done. Then you do all the fancy stuff once you've come out of consolidation. Until then, you got no business trying different diets along the way. You just need to literally get into shape as most efficiently as possible, because like you said, it's not going to be sustainable. Then worry about sustainability.
Yeah.
Because if you worry about sustainability at the beginning, you get nowhere. You get nowhere.
No, you need to understand that you just need to dig a little bit hard a bit now. You need to dig a little bit now, come out the blocks hard. And again, this is why for most people, we recommend a meal plan from the start. You know, even for people who think they're quite experienced tracking calories in MyFitnessPal, no, you're still going to be doing better on a set meal plan. We see that all the time. How many times, some people have come in and be like, oh yeah, no, I've been tracking for years and I use my fitness power, this and that. 1 month in, they've dropped no weight. But my calories are this, calories are that. No. And then we put them on a meal plan that's the same calories, but magically they start dropping weight. And we see that all the time. So I think the approach most people should take when embarking on their own transformation is like, start with a meal plan, whether that's a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever it is, start with that. And then as you get better, as you build your foundation, as we discussed, start adding a little bit more flexibility in, but still keep you add the flexibility within the foundational structure. You don't just change everything up because of flexibility and because your favorite influencer has said something about carbs. You just add a little bit of flexibility when you can, but the majority of your plan for the process phase should be very meal plan orientated. If you really want the result, just say to yourself, if I just have to stick this for X amount of time, and then I can start adding in more flexibility and I will be able to maintain my weight when done correctly. I think that's probably a big caveat.
Yeah, massive caveat, but massive point. I think it's a really important one because, if you're scrolling through Instagram and you're seeing your favorite fitness influencer eating 20,000 calories of donuts, what you're not seeing is how much they're restricted.
Refeed day. Yeah, refeed day.
I mean, legit, I saw this woman, she's like, must be less than 50 kilos. She posted a YouTube video of doing 20,000 calories in donuts. I thought to myself, like, she like, everyone was like, oh my God, they're amazing, and all this sort of stuff. I'm thinking to myself, she's not showing the restriction that went into this build up and then the restriction that's going into afterwards. Like, you can't cheat thermodynamics here, right? And
or she's not eating all of it. She's not eating all of it. She's just saying that she is, right? For the views. And people love seeing that. People love seeing like gargantuan amounts of food being eaten. Yeah. It's insane.
So if you're busy and time strapped and you want to get into shape, you need to just keep it simple. Like, keep it super simple, automate it, use batch cooking in certain ways, and just follow something that works, that gets you in shape. Then worry about the sexy stuff that will get you to where you're eating 3,500 calories and maintaining your body weight. Because it can be done, right? We see it, but that stage of the journey is going to take a long time.
Yeah. But if only there was a place that people could go to learn all about this. If only.
Now, where would that be?
Don't know. I'm stumped.
Well, if you're wondering what Ivan's referring to, he's talking about RNT Pro. So, just drop us a message if you want to be a part of this and you want to get the ultimate lifestyle solution where you not only get into the shape of your life, but you have all the tools to stay there. Because the bridging that gap is the hardest thing, and it's the one area that no one wants to talk about because it really takes a lot of work. This is where like all the people get into shape, but then they're still struggling with their food relationship with food. They're still struggling with rebounding. They're still struggling with all these different aspects. They don't feel confident. They don't like the way they look because they've gained a few pounds. But it's got that second stage of the journey takes a long, long time. And if building a body was easy, we'd have done this 10 years ago. It's taken us 10 years to get here. And for most people, it's going to probably take this. Well, if you've got no ambitions to build muscle, then you can do it in a couple of years. But if you've got ambitions to build muscle, it's going to take you the same time.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. So we've discussed yo-yoing, discussed dieting. What about the training side? What's your current training plan? And then we'll come on the same sort of aspects of that before we wrap up.
So for me, the training is the part of this whole puzzle that got me into this industry, and that's like what I love about it, and really what's got me in there. If I basically want to train as much as I can, and I think I spent loads of years, especially earlier on, just training more, whether it was too much volume in a session or just too much frequency across the week, than I could really recover from. And so over time, I've actually reduced the amount I've done. Just because I think I wasn't just making as much progress as I could have, basically. And there is a balance of how much you enjoy to how much you want to get the results. But just like with the nutrition side of things, my training is now based around practicality side of things, really. I used to love training, like say 6 days a week or something, but I know that's doesn't fit with my lifestyle as well. And I don't get the best results. So I've basically pulled back to 4 days a week, which is the least I've ever trained. Maybe like 10 years or something like that. I'm doing like an upper lower split, upper lower off, upper lower off. But I found, progress is good. When I used to train more, I used to get sick all the time. I've actually got a bit of a cold now, so it's probably not the best selling point for that right now. But yeah, so for me, I'm doing like just upper lower, which, when I was like 18, I thought like I was doing like a body part split, thinking an upper lower wasn't advanced enough and all of this. Well, 12 years later, I've kind of regressed in terms of that. But performance and actual progress is way better.
It's a real hard one, isn't it? It's like we want to train more, but there is I think it can be done if you structure it right and you've.
Well, that's the other thing. I think I could break it down more, but I also like to go in and have what I would consider like a big or a hard session.
Yeah.
So what I have done before, I've like maybe added on like a fifth day. It's been like arms and some delts or something. I absolutely hate it. So you leave feeling bored. You're even bored in the session almost. You're always like trying to motivate, like, no, come on, let's make the most of it, or like, come on, but it's like, it doesn't give me what I want from the gym. And that's where potentially it's like what I said about enjoyment to results, like maybe having that day and my arms would actually look better doing that. But it's so unenjoyable for me. I'd rather, I do the upper lower split and I go in, I'm doing some big movements every session. I'm working hard. And so I'm getting that emotional response that I want from training as well.
It's funny you say that, like I've gone through phases in the last year of adding that fifth day in and then I go through phases of dropping it out because I keep thinking, it's going to be better this time when I do it. And I get to the same thing. I just get bored doing so I've gone back to I've just tacked on. I was doing arms and delts and I just split them again and put them into the upper and lower. So doing arms or lower and just tacked on delts to the upper because it's just boring me to tears.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm doing arms and I know I've got legs straight after, it's almost like a warm up. You're just priming the nervous system. You're getting yourself woken up, ready to go for legs, right?
Yeah. When the biggest thing you're doing that day is a preacher curl, it's like, oh man, that's depressing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's interesting how you went full circle, right? I think that always seems to happen, right? We always end up going back to the simple stuff that just works, whatever that goal is. I think what you touched on there was really cool. There needs to be some emotional attachment to what you're doing there, because maybe it may not be like 100% optimal for whatever. It probably is because you're able to stick to it and do it for X amount of time, right? So for you, I would say that's optimal. But I think there's, again, another big push in the whole fitness realm where you shouldn't be emotionally attached to certain exercises. You should only do what's like optimal for your biomechanics and this and that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then people start dropping big lifts just because biomechanically they may not be the best for it. But if you really love deadlifting, you love just gripping the bar off the floor for high repetitions because it makes you feel like a mad dog, fucking go for it, man. You know what I mean? Like, I want my client to do that because they love doing that. Is it optimal? Yeah. Could they get more out of an RDL? Maybe, but far out, man. Get in there, rip that bar off the floor and go conquer the day because you're a beast. I think we sometimes forget that aspect of training.
That's what it's all about.
In my opinion, that is what it's all about, right? That's fuck optimal. Like, just do the stuff that makes you like really happy to get into the gym and keep you moving for the rest of your life. And that's been my philosophy the last couple of years as well. Like, I've made my transition to, again, a lot of the gymnastics and skill-based stuff. I did exactly what Ed was saying. I went for like a huge streak of training pretty much every day, pretty much put myself into a hole. Looking back, like, I got to the point where I was RDLing and squatting big numbers, but I could barely walk across the street. I couldn't run across the street because my knees would hurt. So I got to wait till all the cars drove past. I was like, I'm not risking this, But that's the thing, to go from that to see what I can do now with my legs is crazy, right? Yeah. That transition. But that has come from, looking more into longevity, looking more into like, what can I be doing for the rest of my life? What do I want to be doing for the rest of my life? What do I love chasing skills. I love that dopamine hit of, working on something that takes a long time, something that really just, you have to put in a lot of work for a long time, see very minimal returns. But then the payoff is so worth it. And I love all that stuff about this sort of training. And that's what gets me going out every day. And I'll still train every day, but only like three to 4 sessions of that week are super intense, because I know that at the end of the month, I need to test my 1RM for my cross, and I need to make sure that I've improved. So I'm really prioritizing recovery. I'm prioritizing that sort of stuff, but I'm still going in there and just practicing other like low load skills that I just like doing because I enjoy being in the gym and I enjoy, I enjoy just being mobile. I enjoy doing all that stuff. So that's how my training has changed.
When you see like Insta influencers and all these guys who are talking about you need to do this exercise, you need to do that, don't do this, laughing at people of not doing it, or all these sort of stuff. I think it puts people off. It gets people questioning what they're doing. I think the reality is you just need to find a few things that you can do progressively. Like I for a long time, I really wanted good calves, right? So, I'd try and do all the calf raises and all that. And then I realized I can't be asked. I don't like doing calves. I just don't like it. I don't like training them. Yeah. I find them boring. So I just don't do them anymore. And it just means I don't have that like anxiety before doing calves. Like, I've got to do calves. Whereas weirdly, I like training adductors. Like whether this adductor machine does anything for my adductors, I don't know, but I'm having faith that it does. So I actually like doing the adductor machine, and I rest pause that thing. And I think of myself as this like DC training beast who's doing the adductor machine.
Yeah, the mindset's huge though.
Yeah,
it's a huge thing.
I'm there squeezing this thing,
the thing is, you can do that for any exercise. You can do that for anything that you want, right? It can be Zumba. It can be spinning in a class. It can be whatever. It could be like combat classes, right? If that really gets you going, you're like, oh, can't wait for this. That's what you want. That's the feeling you want. You don't want to be going, oh, I've got to do another set of calf raises. Because like, if you really wanted to grow those calves, like deep down, if you really wanted to, you'd be like, I cannot wait to get in there and just smash these baby cows.
But also you just do whatever you need to do, right? And then like, for example, like push downs, I can't do anything. I couldn't think of anything worse than push downs. But if it's a PG up pullover, I get excited for that stretch on the triceps and, it feels like I'm doing some work. But with training, like now for me, it's similar to Ed. It's like it's just come full circle. It used to be the bodybuilder splits. It used to be all the different powerlifting splits that were way too advanced for me. I remember trying out like the Bulgarian Olympic lifters program, and all these things that are smaller, way more advanced than I needed to be. I was just working hard at the wrong things. I was stuck in paralysis by analysis all the time. Then over time, it's just sort of evolved into the same sort of 4-day split, which is just chest, back, delts, legs and arms, chest, back, delts, legs and arms. And that's works really well. And for me, it's just training now. It's just enjoyment. And there's one session in the week, especially that Friday session I do every week, that is just like, if I don't do it, I feel like something's missed out in my life. It's the ultimate reset. And it's like the weekend's here. It's that kind of session. It's the end of the week, end of the working week, go balls to the walls on like the big lifts. And it's probably not programmed efficiently in that I should probably spread them out in a bit more in the week. But it's like, I don't care. Like my first leg session of the week is literally single leg curls and single leg Bulgarian split squats for 2 sets each.
Friends. And you're doing it with your friends.
But Friday, it's leg press. It's like banded leg press, reverse banded hack squats and RDLs and GHRs. It's just like super high intensity, but it's so fun.
Yeah.
But the key thing is there's a progressive element to it. It's fun, and I know I'm working hard on the right things. So if you're working on the wrong things, then you're just gonna keep spinning your wheels. You just got to find what that blueprint and structure is, and then go all in on it.
I think what you just said there is absolutely key. There is a progressive element. You need to see yourself progressing in some way. I think for the longevity game, you need to see that you're getting better. You need to be able to feel that you're getting better, because that's going to keep you going. That's in my opinion, the main thing that keeps you coming back. That slight improvement that you see, and also the endorphins and stuff. That's all great, but I think it's that progressive element. Knowing that you're getting better.
Do you think it is what keeps you back, or do you think it's something else?
I think it is, but you move the goalposts. You move the goalposts to make it whatever you can. Even if you stop physically progressing in the numbers, right? You can still, like in my world, I'm just talking about from my experience. Okay, cool. I can still see myself progressing in this flexibility move, or in this range of motion, or in this exercise specifically. You can still see something happening from like a progressive standpoint. I think sometimes if it's just numbers that you see, but I think a lot of people, once they get to a certain age, it's like, well, I just want to be able to feel every single rep a lot better. I want to be able to connect with my muscles a lot better. That sort of stuff. I think your benchmarks or goalposts for progression become a lot more subjective versus just objective numbers. But there's still a progressive element that you still either consciously or subconsciously, you have it in your head. You take note of it somehow.
I think the other thing to remember is, and this is one of the biggest mistakes people make is program hopping. So long as you've got progressive element, but you're also not just jumping from program to program. One month it's 8x8, next month it's 10x10, next month it's bodybuilder, next month it's 5x5, whatever it is. Like don't program hop, because then you won't see any results. Like no, it's the same thing as like yo-yo dieting.
Yeah.
You get no results with your training if you're program hopping. So you need to stick to one thing for a consistent period of time, go all in, progressively overload, and just make sure what you're doing is right.
And that's where it's so similar to, like you said, the nutrition, because everyone looks for the magic, whether it's the intermittent fasting or Smolov program or whatever, but it's just consistency.
Yeah.
And I know everyone says it, but like until you are consistent, you just don't get how powerful that is.
Yeah.
And then once you basically want to find what you're able to be consistent with, and then that is your magic. For Akash, that's intermittent fasting in his food, and then upper lower split. For me, that's whatever with my food. Upper lower split. For Ivan, it's 3 hard sessions and 4 slightly lighter sessions. Like whatever it is that allows you to be consistent, that's the magic for you. And you'll probably find it's pretty basic. Like, we're on upper lower splits. We've tried all these crazy programs. What allows us to be consistent is just the basic. Same with nutrition. We've tried all these crazy different supplements, eating timings, foods, whatever. You end up with these fairly similar stuff, and chase consistency, and then where that lands is what's going to be the magic for you, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's 30 days to go. 30 days till our next cohort. If you're looking to find something consistent, if you're looking to find structured blueprint that works, just drop us a message. Let's jump on a call, see if you're a good fit. Remember, we're not looking for new members. We're looking for success stories. We're looking for people that are here to really make serious transformation and become a new person. Become something they didn't think was possible. We're not looking for people who want quick fixes. Some people want to get ripped in 6 weeks. Some people want to get ripped in 12 weeks. But the reality is, 3 months later, they're back at square one. Like Ed said, we're not selling magic wands here. We're not selling magic solutions. If we had a magic wand, we wouldn't be doing this podcast. So RNT, do it right, do it once, create generational health, be a high performer, no more dieting, have the energy, confidence, clarity you deserve. And the question to ask yourself, if you listen to this and you're not on the journey already, is where do you want to be a year from now? Where do you want to be 3 years from now? Where do you want to be 5 years from now? You don't want to be dieting. You don't want to be still struggling with which program should I be on? Which nutrition plan should I be on? How do I actually keep this? And ultimately, like we've said over and over again in this podcast and everything we say, this isn't a quick fix. This is hard work. Building a body and a lifestyle solution isn't easy. But when you're with the right coaches, when you've got the right mentors, when you've got the right environment, when you've got the right accountability, a step-by-step methodology that works, and you're learning from the best of the best here. We're not overnight Instagram coaches. How can you go wrong if you've got this environment? You've got all the tools. We'll give you the keys. You just got to walk through it. So if you want to give yourself the best possible opportunity, I don't want to sit here and oversell it, because we're not here to oversell it. But if you're serious about finally getting the body you want, there's no better time to do this. Time is ticking. The great reset is here. There's more opportunities in the world than ever before. And there's people here that have already committed, and they know that if they're going to be at their physical best, they're going to be at their best in every aspect. And this window of opportunity is open for action takers, and it's happening with or without you. So if you're ready to make that decision and go all in, then you know where we are. Would you say, Ivan, Ed?
Yeah, amen.
If you're ready to take ownership of your life, we're here for you. If not, keep flicking through Instagram, try the latest fad and keep spinning your wheels.
The amount of people that try all these different things come back to us because they realize that they're not getting a sustainable lifestyle solution. If I had a penny for each one, I'd be a rich man. And here's another analogy to finish it off. Is just thought about this now. Yesterday, and I was going out to give a talk at City Gateway, and I was looking for my keys everywhere. Like I was trying to find my keys. I was scrambling, right? I was scrambling like, where are these? Where are the keys? Where are the keys? And then eventually I found them. And when I think about people listening, a lot of people listening, they're scrambling too. They're constantly scrambling for whatever works. And it's okay to scramble, but it's not okay to gamble with your health. And in RNT Pro, we can show you how to turn your health into your ultimate wealth.
Yep.
Yeah, there's our pitch for today. That's a wrap.